Hey everybody, you asked for a demonstration in class for how to fill out the Excel spreadsheet that we've got here, or right over there. And I wanted to go through and kind of show you how to work with the spreadsheet and how to add the trend line and do everything else. So I'm going to go through step by step, and you can feel free to watch this video as many times as you need so that you can work through your projects and get all your homework done. Alright? So the first thing I'm going to do is get some data. So my data is over in this text box right here. I've got a set of data, and this happens to be world records for men's 100-meter freestyle, I think, throughout time. So I'm going to copy this data and go ahead and just paste it into where I want my data values. Put that in there. And so you see we've got this nice little line. Looks fairly straight, so we could use some arithmetic growth models on it. So the next step is we want to start with an initial value. Our best guess to begin with is this initial value of 55.8, because that's what it starts with in our data values. So let's go ahead and put that in there. 55.8 is my initial value. And for my functional equation, my a sub 0 should also be 55.8. But right now it's just a straight line. So you can see it's going, I can see that my line here on my data values is headed down, so that I know that my slope needs to be negative. So that needs to be a negative value right here. So my difference equation, let's just say it's -1, and I put a guess. And there's my red one. It's going down a lot faster than my blue data values, so that's probably not it. Let's try -0.5. Getting closer. -0.25, a lot closer, but a little bit above it. So let's do -0.3. Hey, that looks like it's right on top of it. So I can do the same thing using my functional equation and do -0.3. And now I've used some trial and error and just sort of figured this is about what I think the functional equation and the slope should be for my growth model. The next step is to actually go ahead and use the Excel's built-in trend line to try and put an actual trend line on top of this and find out what the actual equation should look like. So if we go up to, now I'm using this on the Mac, so it's going to look a little bit different than if you're working on a PC, but regardless, once I click the table, you should have these chart tools show up in the ribbon. And if you go to your chart layout, over here there's the trend line button. I can click that, choose linear trend line. I tell it I want you to do a trend on my actual data values, and click OK. And there's my trend line. Wow, that's actually pretty close. I think I did a pretty good job. But there are some places where it's a little bit different. So let's take a look. If I can click just on my trend line, oops, come on, there we go. I can actually, or double click on the trend line, I get this pop-up box that lets me make some changes and format my trend line. Now I do want a linear trend line because we're using a linear model. And then next I select options, and what I want to do is display the equation on the chart so I can actually see what the equation is. So I check that box, I click OK, and here it is. And I can move it around on my chart, and I can also make the font bigger so it's a little bit easier to read. And sure enough, my initial value should actually be about 56.1 or 56, and my slope looks like it's -0.2898. And so that's how you play with this Excel spreadsheet and use guess and check, and then also use the trend line in Excel to create a linear model of your data. Thanks.